Well, hello there. Welcome once more to Kwankyewa's Kitchen. And if this is your first time stopping by, I would like to say a very warm akwaaba to you. Today I'm sharing with you my homemade meatballs recipe, and this is so good, so juicy, so flavor packed. You'll just be making this almost on a daily basis and you will be done with store-bought meatballs, I tell you. I really hope you like this video and I hope that you try it and let me know how it goes. So for your meatballs, you will need some ground beef, and I like to mix my meat, so I'm using ground pork as well, some chili flakes, breadcrumbs, onion, eggs, garlic, Italian parsley, and I'm also going to be using some parmesan cheese that I'll grate myself. So I'm going to combine my meat, and then I add my chili flakes, breadcrumbs, and so I'm going to slice up an onion and add, so half of the onion I'm going to slice. I have a whole onion, the other half will go into my sauce that the meatballs will cook in. So my half onion, you see I didn't chop it to be fine. You have an option to make it fine if you don't want to bite into it, but I like some texture in my meatballs, so I'm cutting all my vegetables to be a little bit on the rough or coarse side, but you can make yours a little finer. So here's my garlic, and I'm going to add the garlic, and then this is some Italian parsley that I'm going to try to chop up. And that is going to bring more flavor, you know, like the aroma of the parsley, the flavors that it brings to the meatballs is exceptional. Like if you try without it and you make it with it, you will see the difference. So I'm going to add some Parmesan cheese, and I like to have freshly grated Parmesan cheese, or most of my cheeses now, thanks to my French friend. She likes to have all her cheeses fresh, so I'm learning to do the same, and this really makes a big difference. So I've grated my own cheese. This is about a quarter cup of Parmesan cheese, and I'm going to add that to my other ingredients. My Italian parsley goes in now, and here are 2 eggs that I have cracked, and so I've added my 2 eggs, and I was going ahead of myself trying to wipe the baby and do this. I forgot to put some salt and peppercorn, so I remembered. So here's my salt now, and I'm going to grind some black pepper in here. And like I said in my sauce video, I like to use freshly ground pepper because it's more flavorful. You taste it better. And so now I have all my ingredients now, and I'm just gonna mix everything. So you're combining your meats, because I have 2 kinds of meat. I have pork and beef, plus all the other ingredients. You want it to be well mixed before you shape your meatballs, and that is what I'm trying to achieve here. So right now I think my meat is all mixed up well, and so I'm going to start scooping them up. I'm using an ice cream scoop, so I have equal portions, or you know, meatballs that are very, very similar in size, and I'm going to scoop until I'm all done with everything, and then I'll really shape them. And now that I'm done portioning out my meat, I'm going to pick each portion and try to form some balls, you know, shape it into balls. You could also shape it to look like eggs, whatever shape you choose to have it. But I love to have them looking like little tennis balls. And so I'm going to go ahead and do that to all of it. And then we are going to bake my meat. And like I said previously, I like to have texture in my meatballs, so you can really see my onions and garlic, especially sticking out all over my meat. And if you don't want this kind of texture, you may want to just chop it finer, all your vegetables finer. So I bake my meatballs, and we are going to bake this in a preheated oven set at 370 degrees for a total of 25 minutes. And 25 minutes later, just look at this gorgeousness. Our meatballs are done. They are cooked, but not thoroughly cooked, because I want to continue the cooking process in the sauce, so it absorbs all the goodness of the sauces, and it's going to be juicier and even more flavorful. So I'm taking everything out of the pan now, and then we will proceed to making our pasta sauce. And these meatballs, just like they are so great, so tasty on its own without even making pasta sauce with it. You could have it with your other meals and it freezes so beautifully. So you can make this ahead, freeze it, and thaw it out anytime you want to use it in whatever you want to make, and just throw it in there and you're good to go. But today we are going to cook it in our pasta sauce. So I'm going to start making our sauce. So I heated my pan and oil, and now I'm going to add in my chopped garlic and onions and cook this until it sweats a little bit, and then I'll add in my pasta sauce. So my onion and garlic has sweated a little bit, and I think it's a good time for me to add in my sauce, which is homemade, and I have shared the recipe here with you, and I really hope you give this a try. But even if you are going to use store-bought pasta sauce in a jar like this is how I always make mine. So I will always cook some onions and garlic in my oil before I add that sauce, because to me it's bland if I'm not going to add anything else to it. And this way you have more delicious and flavorful sauce, like real gourmet kind of sauce. Just imagine the flavors our meatballs are going to absorb from cooking in this delicious sauce. And now I've rinsed out my jar so I get a little bit more liquid for our meatballs to be able to cook in and cook to perfection. And so I'm going to stir this a while, and then I'm going to go ahead and drop my meatballs in so it cooks till the stew is done. In go our meatballs, and I just wanted to say, if you were making this to take somewhere like a potluck or something, you could cook your sauce in your crock pot and let these meatballs stay in there, and that way it gets a chance to just cook slowly, and by the time you're ready to serve, it will be so juicy and just perfect. Just amazing taste it will have. But this works beautifully as well in a pan, and I'm going to just let it go simmer on low for about 15 minutes, and that is all it will take, and it's still going to be good because this is very fresh. So I'm just going to try to mix it up, so you bury your meatballs in the sauce so every part of it is able to absorb some good sauce, and that is all. And now I'm just going to let it go simmering. And whilst this goes, I'm just going to go ahead and cook my spaghetti. It smells amazing here. Just look at that. It has thickened up a little bit. The extra liquid that I put in has evaporated. My meatballs have absorbed the sauce, and right now it's really ready to be served. But I always like to put a little bit of grated cheese in my sauce, and that is what I'm going to do. And it always gives you more delicious flavor. Some of the store-bought ones will already say it has Parmesan cheese in it or whatever kind of grated cheese, but I always love to put a little bit of cheese in my sauce, whether it's in the jar or homemade. And just like that, let it rain, let it snow. We got some beautiful cheese in here, and now I'm just gonna go ahead and mix it up, and that's all. After this is all done, and dinner is about to be served. And I am so hungry. I feel like I could eat everything in this pot. And look, dinner is ready, and there's a lot of sauce and meatballs to go around. So I hope you come in to join us at the table. But just look at this. Just look at how rich this tomato sauce is. It's just so unbelievable that this is homemade. The flavor, the aroma, everything. If I told you this didn't come out of the jar, this was not already made, and this is homemade, you might not believe it. This is so good. So good. So try this recipe for the meatballs as well as that for the sauce, and you will be in good business. I'm telling you, everybody that eats this will love it. You feel like the real boss of your kitchen. Look at those meatballs, the perfect size. 3 is about all you need, and I love some grated cheese, so I'm just going to top it with some cheese, and that is all you need for this amazing recipe. Now let's just take a look at this meatball. So beautiful, the perfect size, tender, juicy, perfectly cooked, and look at that, just so beautiful on the inside, and the taste is just as perfect. I really hope this makes you want to try it. You will love it. And until I come your way next time with something delicious, be loving, be kind, be happy.